Had a pretty good laugh yesterday, Paul Thurrott.
Okay.
Significant, I would call it a hearty chuckle,
Okay.
a
And
an audible laugh, a
yes,
soul
a
cleansing.
spontaneous.
Watching that OpenAI event yesterday,
Yeah.
announce all their stuff or whatever, and then say, "Oh yeah, we're also releasing a Mac app." No
Yeah.
mention of Windows.
Right.
Even
One's
better.
reaction to that, I think, says a lot about where they're at in life, how accommodating they are to big tech. It's like the people who always stand up and defend bad behavior. Like, I love Apple, so everything they do is fine. Or I love Microsoft, so everything they do is fine. And I've seen the stupidest rationalizations for this imaginable, you know?
Now, build is next week. Maybe.
Yeah, but
Let's pretend that they have the industry's best app coming to market Tuesday of next week. Let's just pretend that. We both know it's probably not true, but let's just pretend that.
you're talking about on Windows.
Yeah, on Windows. All they had to do, all
That's
they
not
had
bad.
to do is say, we thank Microsoft for the $10 billion. So in our PR release, we're going to put releasing an app on Mac OS today. We'll have more to talk about Windows next week. And that would have been just
The
sufficient.
thing is, that's not what they said.
No.
And what they see, this is what makes
Oh, they even doubled down on it too. They
that's
told,
what I mean.
yeah, they told like somebody in the press. They said, yeah, because most of our users are on Mac. And it was
Oh,
like,
it's, yeah, yeah. Oh, I
oof.
was going to, I'll tack onto that. They said later in the year. They not like later this month or later this spring or like late in the year. So obviously, we'll just check off the list of obvious responses to this. Microsoft already has an integrated AI assistant thing
Mm-hmm.
in Windows called Copilot, and Copilot is arguably a superset of Chat GPT. I don't really see it that way, but that's fine. And one that will include support for this GPT 4.0.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard not to imagine a Vanilla Ice song every time I say that out loud. But anyway, um, yeah, at some point, and probably first to paying customers, et cetera. I don't know. I don't know. This weird competition partner thing
Mm-hmm.
is getting weirder.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say. Um, so yeah, okay, I guess so. But I is there an audience of people who want this on their computer but don't want Copilot? I don't know. I don't know.
Back of my mind, I can't help but wonder. Do you think Microsoft may have been like, no, don't do it on Windows?
Well, that's the thing. That's what people are saying. Like, like depending on your worldview, you know, you may believe that to be the case, right? That Microsoft and them talked about this and said, no, whatever. And yeah, maybe, but I don't think it matters. I don't understand not doing both. There's nothing special, like I saw you and Zach on Twitter, some typical stupid Zach exchange about web view versus native apps. And it's like, guys, you know, the the way it's built doesn't matter. The way it's delivered doesn't matter. It being like a native app doesn't make it better. It's all it's doing is integrating with a web service. It doesn't matter. It being a web page is fine. Like, who cares? All it has to do is be a container around the website. I don't know. I don't think any of this. The I don't even understand what they announced. Like, why? The point of this is so weird to me. It's like, um, you could from Safari on a Mac install this thing as an app, sort of, right, using that kind of PWA install thing, or with Chrome or whatever. Like, why not just do that? And by the way, today as we speak is the opening day of Google I/O. Google, a company that makes the web browser that runs the internet, that has on-device AI capabilities in mobile devices now. Maybe there's going to be an announcement around that stuff. Do you think there's going to be more AI everywhere starting soon? Do you think? I mean, I just don't understand what the point of this was. Although I will say, broadly speaking, making this announcement the day before Google I/O was like a giant middle finger rising from the bottom of the screen,
Oh
like
yeah.
the monolith in 2001. Like, I give them credit for that little bit of ballsiness. Awkward little event, though, huh? Awkward.
Yeah,
right?
the
Awkward and weird.
the
Wasn't it?
demos were pretty impressive, though. I will.
Impressive. But here's what made them almost doubly impressive. They were live.
Hmm.
They were obviously live.
Yep.
There were glitches and mistakes, and this is such a weird thing to say. It made it feel more human.
Yes, I agree.
Right? And this is one of the things like Richard likes to correct me on when I kind of parrot the language of AI, where I talk about um, AI learning, and he'll always say, "Well, they don't learn like we learn, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, actually, they kind of do." The problem is like conceptually. Don't worry about the details of it, but I mean, the notion that you have this entity out in the world learning, literally, not
Hmm.
just the time of training, but in real time as you interact with it more, this kind of context type stuff. And now we have an AI that seems human and has emotion and can sing and can, it's like what's that definition of, sufficiently advanced science is indistinguishable from magic, or whatever that quote is. Like
Hmm.
it, I mean, we're not, not that far from this stuff fooling everybody. There are moments in there where it's like,
Oh yeah, it's
yikes. I'm not saying it's sentient. I'm literally not saying that, but it feels
no, but I mean,
human,
is it
right?
like
Right. I mean,
you
it's a
could
little
get
weird.
duped on a phone call.
Yep. And yeah, that's the thing. Like, think about like the Pixel has all these kind of phone related features, not just
Hmm.
like in scanning calls for spam and all that stuff, but like literally answering the call for you and saying, "Hey, Paul's busy right now, but who are you? Let me know who you are, just to make sure it's a human, and it will then let you through, and then you decide." Or you're on hold. It's like, well, I'll handle the on hold thing, and I'll let you know when it's humans on board. Or there's a phone system menu, and it knows what the options are, and it just pushes you through really quick, right? This is kind of the next step. I mean, when you think about like digital assistants, isn't this what we were imagining? Someone who would act on our behalf,
Hmm.
do things for us, and then a big chunk of that is interacting with people when necessary and fooling them, you know?
After
I mean,
seeing
this is going
that
to,
audio demo, it
yeah,
becomes real clear why Apple is rumored to have inked a deal with OpenAI to power whatever Siri
yeah,
Gen 2 or Siri, the coming
yeah.
of the good
Have
stuff.
that happening, but in Siri's voice or
Yep.
voices, I guess. I think
Yep.
Siri has multiple voices now, but yeah, it's, I just did this on my iPhone yesterday. Um, I, I use Google Fi as my service, right? And on the iPhone, sometimes the voicemails come through as visual voicemail. You'll see them in the queue,
Hmm.
but sometimes there'll be a message at the top that says, "Click here to call your voicemail," and you have to call and listen, right? Now it's 2024, so I would say if I get 100 voice messages, 99 of them are going to be spam.
Hmm.
Meaning there's no message there at all, or it's just someone speaking spam, whatever it is. And having just watched this OpenAI thing, and having updated my iPhone to the new version of iOS, right, 17.5 or whatever it is, and having stepped through the little thing in the beginning where I always say no to Siri. Every time I'm like, "No Siri, no Siri, no Siri." And this time I was like, "Yeah, I'll do Siri." Because stuff is happening, right? We're going to get a developer show soon. I actually said yes to this thing. So anyway, my phone said I had a message. I had a call. It comes up with no number pad, but the thing speaking to me through the little speaker, but I'm looking at the screen, and for some reason there isn't a button right there to turn on the number, or, the option so I can turn on the speaker or whatever. So I literally said out loud, "Siri, turn on the speaker." Guess what happened? You've
Just
used Siri before. Come on. What do you think happened?
not what you wanted.
Yeah, nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing happened. Because this most basic of features, like Apple didn't think to put buttons on the screen for those things you might want when you're making a phone call, like the
Hmm.
number pad or switching the speaker output, right? You have to go back from whatever the screen you dialed from or whatever it is. And it's like, okay. So of course they didn't think through that other thing, which is you have an assistant. You were the first ones. You've had it for 13 years now. And you don't have it do what does it do? Like, what's the point of this thing? Anyway, maybe iOS and whatever will improve, and maybe we'll have Chat GPT to thank, or OpenAI or whatever. I don't know. I welcome my AI overlords because things can only get better.
I don't know. My prediction is that most phone calls starting in 2025 will be AI, just talking to other AIs, and
Yes.
humans on the phone will be
Yep.
a rare opportunity.
Yeah, and future, the success of spam in the future will hinge on its ability of AI to get by AI. you know, it's so weird.
Yeah, we're all
We
doomed.
get phones that we don't make phone calls on. That stupid thing, Why do we even call it a phone?
Well, there'll be a tipping point too, where more content on the internet is AI generated than human generated too. I mean, because it,
We may have hit that point for all
yeah,
I know. I don't know
well,
if you look at news headlines at all, but my God, it's like it's not English as a second language. It's like English is something you see in the distance and can't quite make out. I
yeah,
don't know.
yeah, we're all doomed. Well,
Yeah, you're doomed. See, I'm a lot closer to retirement than you are. You got a ways to go. Good luck, and you've got young kids too, or young kids, sorry. But I mean, ugh, God, I can't even imagine the world of the future anymore. How
I really should have picked crime as a career.
dystopian is going to look like a romance novel,